What's going on, guys? I'm Mike Pouncey, former center for the Miami Dolphins. I'm here with Coach Fred and my brother Marquise Pouncey, former center for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let you guys know that Twin P is official liquor, the Common Man Podcast. Bottoms up, Twin P, best. Gotta drink some more.
Check one. Let's try this again. Let's go this way. Hype me up. Hype me up. Sounds great now? Can we hear it? Are we good? What did I do? What didn't I do? Testing, check 1, 2. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's back it up. Let's go back to the beginning. All right. One more sound check. Check 1, 2. All right, here we go. Let's go back to the beginning. Intro music. I don't even know what that was. All right, here we go. Man, after we fought through those technical difficulties, we are here. We're back. We are live Friday night. Impromptu. Just wanted to get on and wanted to kind of give just some insight on what we got coming down the pipe for the rest of the week, rest of the month. As we know, as I said earlier, it's a day for everything now. There's hot dog day, there's potato chip day, there's French fry day, there's this month, there's that month. But this month, and correct me if I'm wrong, I hadn't really heard a lot about what June is, and we are going to promote that to the fullest as much as possible, as we've kind of said what we wanted to do with this channel, which is more on a health tip and bleed into HBCU football, right? So no football tonight. We're just going to talk about what June is. And June is the Men's Health Month annual observance for focusing on raising awareness about health issues specific to men and encouraging them to prioritize their well-being. This includes promoting regular checkups, encouraging healthy lifestyle choices, and addressing mental health concerns, right? That's what we're doing. And that's going to start again tonight, the rest of the month. As you know what we do, this Wednesday, the Drive at 5 will actually happen on Tuesday because I'll be out of town on Wednesday. And the following Wednesday, we'll have Dr. Fred back, as we want to make sure that we give as much information to the masses as possible. Positive information, right? Myself, 2 weeks ago, just went and visited the podiatrist for my pinky toe and had some stuff going on with that. Had an opportunity to sit down with the doctor, talk about it. And what we want to do from this point on is make sure that all men that's in the audience, that's a part of the channel that gets on, we want to make sure that we promote and encourage you guys to go get checkups, talk to people, not just on the health side, but on the mental health side. As we know, men, we are also encouraged to be very strong, not tender, not show a soft side, build a wall, so to speak. And what we want to do here is find and give outlets for guys to be able to go talk to someone if something's going on. Because you want to make sure that we catch this thing on the front end, that's health-wise, and on the mental health side. Because if you catch it on the back end, it may be too late, right? So we want to make sure that we kind of give that. So the women that are part of the channel, that join the show, tap in. You know, if you have men, whether it's your significant other, your boyfriend, your dad, your brother, cousin, uncle, whoever, co-worker, encourage them. Talk to them. Hey, man, when the last time you've been to the doctor? Encourage them to go do that, because it's easier to find it in the beginning than to deal with it in the end. And what we want to do is make sure that we bring awareness, the prevention part of it, early detection, how important that is, mental health. We talked about that just a few minutes ago. Sometimes things can just kind of build up, way in, way, and then when it gets too heavy, then we have a problem. And as the kids say, now we're about to crash out, this, that, and the third. We want to catch that before then, okay? Want to catch that before then. Social connection. You know, there's all kind of groups that you can kind of get with that will help you through the process. You know, at this point, you know, you can find any and everything you want on social media, right? Google, you can find those groups, you can find those places that you need to tap into, whether it be in person, telehealth, which we talked about on one episode before, and just different ways. No excuses like our granddads had, where they couldn't find time to go to the doctor, or they couldn't get to the doctor, or they didn't feel comfortable talking to a doctor. You know, now there's different ways to get around that, and we want to make sure that we get those ways out. Again, Dr. Fred will be joining us again on a show in a couple weeks, and we've got doctors on previous shows that you can go tap into. Dr. Parker, again, Dr. Fred, and Pamela got on and talked about the hydration part. I don't know if people really realize how important hydration to the everyday person is. Not just athletes, but the everyday person. Hydration. If you're not hydrated, if you're dehydrated, a lot of things can happen if you don't catch that. But if you don't know what you're looking for, then you won't know what you're trying to catch, right? So these are all episodes you can go back and check out on Common Man podcast on YouTube, and kind of go from there. We want to make sure that we create a group and spread awareness, health awareness. You know, there's a lot of guys out there that are kind of walking around with, let's say, clear mind, but there may be something going on with the cholesterol. There may be something going on with their blood pressure, and, you know, just whatever. But if you don't go see a doctor, if you don't catch it in time, it could be a small problem that could be corrected. If you don't catch it, then it becomes a bigger issue, right? Guys, I don't know if you know it or not, and we'll continue to talk about it. Guys that are in my age range, my age grouping, the age has changed for the colonoscopies, right? And I know that's an uncomfortable situation to talk about, but guys, we need them, especially guys that look like me. We definitely need to go get those early and figure out if we're good or what our next move needs to be. You know, you want to catch that early. You don't want to catch that late. You want to catch that early. And then, you know, early detection with anything helps. Prevention, blood pressure, diabetes, colon cancer, any type of cancer. If you don't know you have it, how can you fight it? And that's what we want to make sure that we're encouraging you to go and do that. You know, if you're not feeling yourself, if that goes on for a couple of days, then we need to make sure that we're encouraging you to go to the doctor, to go see somebody, nurse practitioner, your 24-hour clinic, whatever it is, to go and see what's going on to get yourself back to feeling yourself again. You don't want to walk around for a month not feeling right, and you know your body better. You know your body better than anyone, right? So if you walk around for a few weeks and you're not feeling who you are, then you probably need to go see a professional in the healthcare field to figure out what's going on. And that's kind of what we want to do. We want to make sure that we're encouraging that. We want to make sure that we're getting our viewers, our listeners, the support, the knowledge to go do that. Not just the men, but the women. But we're focusing on the men this month because June is Men's Health Awareness Month. So we want to make sure we focus on that and make sure that we're getting our guys to the doctor. Guys that work, that have healthcare, we pay for it. So let's go use it, right? And it's got to be more than once a year. You know, I try to split mine up into 3 parts: the beginning, toward the middle of the year, and then a little before the end of the year. You know, because if you want to stay on top of things, that's kind of the only way you do it. If you go to the doctor in January and you don't go to the doctor again until the following January, you know, that's a whole calendar year for something to be going on inside our bodies that we don't know. We don't have that. I don't know if y'all remember the comic books, and you turn to the back page and then you could buy all this stuff. And they had this deal where you could buy these x-ray glasses and you're supposed to be able to see through skin and see bones. You know, that we don't really have that, right? That's not real. That's not something you can buy out of the back of a magazine. So we want to make sure that if we go in January, we want to make sure we go again around June, July. We want to make sure we go again around November, and then we're right back to January. In between those months, a lot of things can happen. So we want to make sure that we stay on top of that. And I know what people are saying, Coach, you smoke cigars, blah, blah, blah. Right, I do. But that's why I also routinely go to the doctor. That's why I kind of also routinely check my pressure. Maybe not as much as I should, as Pamela would tell you, but I check it. If you don't check it, then you don't know. And the crazy thing about blood pressure is a lot of people think that high blood pressure is to guys that are kind of overweight, and that's not true. You know, so we want to make sure we dispel that myth. You know, right now, as I sit here today on this Friday night, I am 183.3, right? 183 pounds. And I have to stay on top of my blood pressure. You know, not only hereditary, but also the profession that I'm in. You know, July is going to be a hot month. August is going to be a hot month. September is going to be a hot month. And in between that, there's a lot of high pressure situations that I'll be in, you know, so I've got to stay on top of that. I've got to figure out ways to keep that level, to keep that under control, you know, and that's not just the profession that I'm in, you know, that's the profession that anyone is in, school teacher, Walmart associate, whatever. Your well-being is more important than what you probably think the job is, so to speak. And we want to make sure that we kind of encourage that again to June and beyond, that guys go and get tested. See the doctor, get your blood pressure tested, get your colonoscopy. If you are 44 and up, get that done. Again, it's harder to talk about than the actual procedure, guys, trust me. But we need to get that done. You don't want to wait until you're 50 and you go get it done, and then there's something that shows up that could have been caught back when you were 44. You know, so again, we want to encourage that and kind of keep that moving, not just the rest of the month of June, but every episode that we do here on Common Man. And you're right. If you're going to do the cigars, you better damn well stay on top of everything else. If you're going to do the whiskey, you better damn well stay on top of everything else. And I want to make sure I put that out there. You must be 21 and up to drink, 18 and up to buy cigarettes, cigars, whatever, right? I want to put that disclaimer out there. But the disclaimer for not going to the doctor, we don't have that. We don't have that excuse, okay? Understand that the eating habits that we have at 21 kind of has to change as we get older. And we have to understand what those eating habits that when we're older have to become in order to make sure that this body that we have continues to work properly, functions properly, and gives us the best feeling every morning we wake up. So we want to make sure that we stay on top of that. And again, we want to make sure that we're encouraging that on this channel, on this show, and we will do more of it as we've got Dr. Fred coming in on not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. I think that's the 25th, if I'm looking at it correctly. So we'll be able to talk about that a little more. Wednesday show for next week will be on Tuesday, as I'll be out of town on Wednesday. So we're going to start coming to you guys a little bit more often than once a week as we are getting closer to the season. I know that sounds crazy to say in June, but July will be here before we know it. You know how that goes. You wake up and it's July 4th and we're right into it. And then before you know it, you wake up and you're in the middle of August and you're in the middle of camp and we're right into the season. So, we're going to continue to build it as organically as we can. Like, subscribe, pass it on to family, friends, same thing. It's going to be a lot of stuff coming down. Good content. Blue Bloods, we still rocking. That's the whole FCS umbrella. And we have some side stuff that's going to be coming as well. So, we want to make sure that, we're giving the people that rock with us the best possible content, information, all of that as we can. As my boy B, Blue, as a lot of you affectionately know him as, will be on, as he's the one that kind of hit me off the scene about the audio. I probably should be checking my deal just to make sure he hadn't hit me back, that we're still up and rolling. So again, we got some stuff coming. Timothy writing, with the SI situation, it'll work itself out as well. So the FCS Blue Bloods, me, Timothy Blue, we still rocking, we still together, we still got it coming down the pipe. Common Man, HBCU football, we still got it coming. And I'm working on something right now to get us through the month of June, through the month of July, that I think would be really fun, man. So you guys make sure you keep tapping in with us. And we're going to have that show come up, and we're going to talk about it, promote it here a little bit later, as I continue to convince Blue that it's something that we can do and that we can pull off. So keep tapping in with us, man, as we get closer to football season, the 2025 football season. Say that again. The 2025 football season. Who would ever thought it? Here before you know it, right? So again, man, Friday night, 10:50. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. Sorry about the technical difficulties we had earlier, as we'll continue to work through the new system. Continue to work through the new system and get things corrected, man. So it'll be an easy transition anytime we jump on and we want to talk about it. We'll talk about it, and we don't have to worry about the audio and all that. We just hit it one shot, boom, we up and rolling. You know what I mean? So again, thank you guys for hitting us up late night, tapping in with us. My guy, Mr. Kincaid, as always, thank you. Mr. Kincaid, when the last time you been to the doctor? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I want to know. Yeah, you can hit me offline with that. But again, it's what we want to do, man. And thank you guys for jumping on. And we'll see you again. If not tomorrow, if not Sunday, we'll see you again on Tuesday.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mike Pouncey, former center for the Miami Dolphins. This is my brother Marquise Pouncey, former center for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
What's up, everyone?
This is our new cigar line. It's called Twin P. It also matches well with our bourbon whiskey. It's called Twin P as well. So if you like to smoke cigars and like to drink whiskey, I advise you get both.